What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we are ready to do the full review of this guy. This is the Berg Blades Iron Wolf. Ooh, stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Okay, first things first, this knife was provided to the channel by none other than, you've heard his name a lot, Ryan Stud Fishing. Has sent me so many great knives. He has been a wonderful friend, one of my first subscribers to the channel, and we talk all the time. He has sent me an epic load of knives. This was one of them. This is the Berg Blades Iron Wolf. And I had seen this knife around, but I've never been able to get my hands on one to handle. So thank you so much, Ryan, for your generosity. You are amazing. So this definitely screams Kyle knife. This thing is a beast, and you guys know I love the big knives. This one really does tickle my fancy. This is the first Berg Blades knife that I have ever been able to handle, and of course, you know, he is a custom maker. His custom work is very, very expensive. So this knife was actually produced by We Knives, out of China, and of course we all know We does excellent work. This one is, however, considered to be a mid-tech, and you know, there's always the argument and discussion about what mid-tech is, and mid-tech is that term is kind of going away. But the reason that it was originally called a mid-tech is because, yes, these things are made by We, but they get sent in and they are hand stropped by Matt Westberg, who is Berg Blades. And so that is kind of cool that there is some hand touches, you know, they are made by We, get sent in, and he takes them by hand and strops them to make sure that the edge is the way that he wants it. So I do think that's really cool. Now, whether or not that is technically a mid-tech, I don't know and don't think so. However, I think that is really, really cool. He did work really closely with We Knives to produce this thing, and did they nail it. Now, there are two variations of this knife. I believe you've got a blasted finish and then a stone blush finish as far as the titanium goes on this bolster here. But then you also have on the bead blasted just a black carbon fiber, and this has like a bronze carbon fiber. Let's see if we can actually get it. Is very, very, wow, I don't even know if you can pick that up on the camera. And on your eye's view, this does have a brass copper kind of twill that's in there. Oh, it's like a lightning strike carbon fiber inlays is what they call it, but it has that look. I don't think it's coming off on camera, but dude, it looks beautiful. They did an excellent job of these chamfers and rounding off that's going on this carbon fiber. The transition to the carbon fiber and the titanium is excellent. It is just very well put together, and I really, really have enjoyed it. Now, of course, titanium, you've got carbon fiber, and this blade in particular, CPM S35VN. So very, very nice materials. How's the action? The action is super smooth. Obviously running on bearings. It is not a guillotine fall shut. It is one of those more shake kind of smooth shuts. You know, it's like if I was to, and you might could tune this differently, but I can't let the blade just fall on its own. There's a little bit of shaking, but not much. That boom. So very, very smooth, like no grittiness, nothing like that, which is what you would expect from, first of all, a Berg blade, and then also manufacturing from We. Very, very nice. The detent is also very nice. This is a dedicated flipper. As you can see, the flipper is kind of big. That doesn't bother me. I know it bothers a lot. However, the flipper works really good. The detent on it is good. I wouldn't call it just the most wonderful thing in the world, but the detent works great. Like, I put my finger right here. It is jimped on the back, but it is not sharp. They did a really good job of rounding this off and whatnot. But I put my finger right here in the end, and then if I do that, I mean, it comes out with authority, and it works excellent. Now, if I was to put my finger like right up here to my fullness and then go down. It also comes out, but it doesn't have the authority that it does when I put my finger way back here. So I usually like to kind of do the push button, and it always works. If you do the light switch, it works as well. It's just one of those, it's just a little bit different on how it flies out. It does have these little cutouts here. Well, if I can get my camera to do that. The cutouts right back here, you know, to where that's where your finger lands. This little area, it might be just a tad bit sharp, but it is nothing compared to some other knives that I have felt. So it's not really a big deal. When my finger comes down in there, I can feel that area, but it's something that it does not bother you over time like some other ones do. I can flip this thing all day long and it really not bother my finger. It's just right there on that edge. The lock bar, or bolster lock rather, does have a steel lock bar insert. The carbon fiber scales act as the over travel stop, and it is easy to disengage and get out of the way. I really, really dig the way that they did the cutout. It's a really thicker slab of titanium, and because of this cutout is here, it makes it really easy to get out of the way and disengage the knife. This thing is a beast. It is 9 inches overall. So what that dictates is for me and my big hands makes ergonomic sense. It is really, really comfortable in hand. And then of course it has something that I wish every knife would have is that forward finger choil. That makes it lovely. Just lovely. Now, I love this Knife Ergonomics where I don't have to have that finger control because it feels really good and locked in, but I really love the fact that I can choke up on this knife if I want to. The jimping on this knife is non-existent except for on the blade and right here. So not sharp at all. I really like the way they did this jimping. It's kind of farther apart because I like the tighter jimping, but it is not sharp. It's just enough to index your finger and give you a little bit of grip. They did a very excellent job with that. This blade, just look at that blade. Clip point style blade with the fuller in here. I think it is gorgeous. It is a flat grind with a swedge up on top. I love the way this blade looks. It cuts very well. It's about 20 thousandths behind the edge, maybe a little bit smaller than that in some areas. So it cuts like it's supposed to. It looks gorgeous, and I just loved carrying this thing. Whenever I carried this thing and had to bust it out either by just playing with it or cutting a package or something, everybody was very intrigued because it just is gorgeous looking. I love the way that they did the carbon fiber on the titanium. You know, this is not new. A lot of knives have that. But for some reason, it just looks like they just went above and beyond the fitting and the chamfering around this guy. It just is really, really nice. Now, there is no internal milling on the internal liners of the titanium frame. However you want to dictate that. There is a titanium really cool back spacer that is right back here. There is no lanyard hole, so nobody, you lanyard guys, the few of you that are out there, you will not be able to put a lanyard on this thing. But it is just absolutely well done, gorgeous knife, and it's my size. Now, it is a dedicated flipper, and you see it does have a fuller. Usually that fuller means that I might be able to spidey flick it, but as you see when you close this knife, the fuller is almost completely gone. So there is no middle finger flicking this knife. Oh boy, if that fuller was just a little bit higher, it would take away from the knife. I understand that. Basically, the fuller would not go all the way down. It would be a little bit shorter. But holy crap, I think that would be awesome if that one came out just a little bit to where you could get your finger in there and do a middle finger flick. That would make this thing a little bit more fidgety. But geez, that's really about it. That's the only thing that I would change, because this thing is just killer. Now, 9 inches, not a small knife. I know a lot of people out there that when they see that, they're just like, nope, I can't carry a knife that big. That's cool. I love the big knives. You guys know that. But that does translate to a 6.3 ounce knife. And I got to be honest with you, for a 9-inch knife with these materials, I was expecting it to be a lot heavier than this. But 6.3 ounces is heavy, but it really doesn't feel like 6.3 ounces. Just call me crazy, which I am used to carrying bigger, heavier knives. But for me, when I first picked it up, it did not feel like 6.3 ounces. So very, very nice. It's a little bit thick here. Usually around a ½ inch is, normal. It's a little bit thicker than that. It's about 0.58, so about 580 thousandths. I like that because of my big meat hooks. It really, really just feels so good in hand and just is hand filling. Oh, in every single grip that I put this in, I am very, very comfortable. The pocket clip on it I can barely feel the pocket clip there. As you can see, very well done titanium pocket clip. Of course, does not sit deep carry. You will have about this much knife riding out of your pocket. People are going to hate that. I get it. I do not care about a knife sitting deep carry because where I live, everybody carries a knife, and so everybody knows you have a knife on you. But a lot of people are going to kind of balk at that. The pocket clip works really well. It just does not sit that very deep at all. But I don't care. Let's go ahead and put it up against some knives here. Here it is against the Knife Ergonomics. Now, the Knife Ergonomics is known to be a rather large knife, but as you can see, the Iron Wolf, boom. It's bigger, significantly bigger. Another knife that is pretty close in size as far as overall length. Here it is against the Paysan, the Spyderco Paysan, and as you can see, it's pretty doggone close as far as overall length. Now, the difference here is this is definitely a much thicker handle. The Paysan is very thin, and for my hand size, it's about as thin as I need it to be. Like if it was any thinner, it would not fit my hand very well. But this size does me justice. It feels so good in hand. With the design, the ergonomics, and just the overall build quality of this knife that we did. Just make this thing a home run. Now, I do believe that these things are discontinued. You can still pick these up on the secondary market, but I have not seen one pop up, in any retailers. I believe they're discontinued. They're around $300, $315, depending on the variation I think that you got. But I think that was a deal. I really, really think that $315, you would be able to pay that and really get your money's worth out of this knife. With the ceramic bearings, the wonderful action. It is tip up right hand only, so you lefties out there might not like it because you cannot reverse that pocket clip. However, with a bolster lock, I think it would work pretty well. I can manipulate this with my left hand very easily. And so even if you're left-handed and you like this design, I don't think you're going to have, obviously your regular problems of getting it out of your pocket like this and kind of flipping it around. But other than that, as far as manipulating the knife to open and close, I don't think lefties would have too much of a problem. But, it's just one of those things. Lefties get the bad part of the deal. And speaking of lefties, if you are a left-handed, you need to go check out Lefty EDC on YouTube. He is a new YouTube channel, but a good friend of mine and really has a good perspective and a lot of left-handed knives and the kind of right-handed knives that are not offered left-handed that work good for left-handers. So definitely go check that out. I will also have him linked down in the description if I remember to do so. But all in all, God, do I love this knife. Now, if you're looking at this knife and you're like, damn, that looks good, but it is big. I get it. There is another version of this knife called the Iron Pup, which is a smaller version of the knife. So if you like this design, try to find an Iron Pup. They're built the same way, just a smaller version, a little bit of differences, but yeah, they thought about that, knew that some people didn't like to carry these big knives like I do, and so the Iron Pup would be a great something to look for if you like this design, because, guys, come on, this is just beautiful. I just really, really love it. There is the maker's mark right there. I really dig that. That is a sweet logo. And then the rest of the blade is sterile. I don't even think that it has the S35VN on here because I did not see it. I don't think it has it on here. It's just a very sterile blade, and it is done just absolutely wonderful. Golly, I can't get over it. All the way up through this finger troll, chamfers, roundness. They just did a good job, an excellent job. Maybe the only complaint I would have about this knife is because this one is new, but I've been playing with it for a little bit. The lock stick, has kind of gone away a little bit. Whenever I first got this, from Ryan, Ryan was like, this is basically brand new. There was just a tad bit of lock stick, and there still is a little bit, but nothing to balk about. This thing has broken in, and it will continue to break in just fine. With these ceramic bearings, the action will continue to get better, and it's just amazing. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. I really, really dig this knife, and I think it would make a wonderful, wonderful addition to anybody's collection. Because yeah, $315, or if you find them on the secondary market, they may be higher. I don't know. It's not an insignificant amount of money, but very well made knife, and of course, a design by a just awesome knife designer, Mr. Matt Westberg. Jeez, I'm horrible with names. But guys, thank you for stopping by and checking it out with me. Ryan, you are the man for letting me borrow this and check it out. I do not want to send it back because this thing just, everything about it is screams me. It is very, very nice. Guys, if you like this kind of stuff, consider hitting the subscription bell. Can't ever talk. And the notification bell, because we have a lot of stuff coming on the channel. This community has been so great. I do giveaways quite often, so if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when I do those giveaways. You can win some cool gear and all of that. I love you all. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.